threw us a half a mile out and dumped us in the water, like get back to shore, right? And so that was the beginning of my journey. And the end was at the end of the camp, they brought in an Indian tribe leader because we were surrounded by tribes in Ontario. And he spoke to us and we stood around the fire and we were all going to get our eagle feather, so to speak, right?
Right.
For surviving. And he spoke to us and I was sitting there, standing there naked around the fire, just like all these other 10 boys. And he started to speak and he talked about, I have a fight going on inside me. He started to tell us he had a white wolf that is love and abundance and caring and joy. And
That you become a new identity. And your new identity, sir, and I saw it at the beginning of the show before we started the show, you held the book and I saw a joy I have not seen at that level. You're a very happy person because you have done really good things in your life and you're doing good things for others. But how did it feel when you got the book in your hand today? Because it just seems like, well, if it was today or yesterday, but what did it feel like?
today, it was right now, like 5 minutes before we jumped on
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Yes, it was literally right now. It was amazing. I feel overjoyed. And once again, like you said, it's so about the ability to share. Person, I was always at the effect of my life. These are happening to me. My parents did this to me. My brother, blah, 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 right? It
Right.
was always happening, happening, happening. And as I started to feed my white wolf, started to learn different things from amazing leaders who written the most Napoleon Hill and the most amazing books around, right? There's so many inspirational books, Tony Robbins, you can read, find somebody that speaks to you, and you will start to shift the way your mind is.
100%. So I wanted to remind people that they can meet you at the event in LA on June 14th. So I'm just going to show this off real quick.
Please. So
And
we're also going to be doing a talk about downtown. So if it's like, okay, if you're thinking about going to make a phone call to a past client or your sphere of influence, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Because that's what we call mind reading, right? So
right.
if the first thing that pops into your mind is something negative, like they don't want to talk to me or
Welcome to the Dr. Smiley Show. So excited to have this author who's giving birth today to his beautiful book. And you're going to love his story. You're going to love who he is. You're actually going to love how his message could change your life. And I can't wait to have Ophir Adar and his new baby on the show. And he's going to give it a one quick show. You want to show it as well? So we both have it on this. There we go. Beautiful. And so congratulations, author Ophir Adar. And a big shout out to Jim Britt, who is obviously somewhat responsible, if not completely responsible, for the fact we met. And it's so amazing how a mastermind allows a filter of people that play big, want to collaborate, and cause really synergistic abundance. So thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you very
And
much
Jim
for
and Jim is so great in getting people started,
yeah.
right?
Yes.
That's the key is getting into motion, right?
Well, what's awesome is that his show just dropped Friday. His show dropped Friday. Yours going live. Yours drops probably in about, let's just call it 2 weeks to a month. All right.
Yeah.
We're excited today because it's really a very timely fact that you just got your book today, but your book is going to be available to everybody on the 14th of June.
It's the perfect timing. And it's interestingly enough, the perfect timing for everything that's happening in life right now, too.
Well, I'm eager to share who you are because I've gotten to know you. And the reason we really hit it off and I wanted to publish your book is because when you first met me and you shared your life story, I was like, okay, this is the kind of guy I want to work with because a person that goes through whatever and wins as a champion and causes other people to be champions, they have a result and they have a formula and they have a way of getting people past their stuff. And
Yes.
I do want to say something kind of tongue in cheek. Thank my son thanks you for launching your book on his birthday.
I love it. I didn't know it was June 14th.
June 14th is his birthday. I'm actually flying back home to give him a big hug, but you picked his birthday, which makes it a double special day. And then there's a third reason. America. It's Flag Day.
The 14th is Flag Day.
Yes. So
Beautiful, right?
so I mean,
That's
this is the new flag. The new flag is feed. Feed the white
the
wolf.
white wolf, right? That is the new flag that we need in America.
And by the way, if you don't know that flag exists, then how can you feed it?
Right, exactly. That's the entirety of the point, right? Is that we need to be self-aware, right? Self-awareness is the most important piece to be able to transform. And I didn't know any of this stuff, when I was younger.
That right there is a stop right there.
Yeah.
Self-awareness. That's pinnacle. I mean,
Yeah.
observation, awareness is so key to what you do to formulate what you can do with data. And so
Right. And
I
do you want
can't,
to know where I learned my self-awareness?
I almost don't want to let you do it now, but I'm going to say yes, I want to, because we're going to go into your story afterwards. So go ahead. What is it?
Oh, you want me to start with the
No, no,
story?
no, no. Go ahead and say, because that's a
Probably better. It was literally door knocking on the Sunset Strip. I wanted to be a
oh, then
real
that's
estate.
a story we'll keep in the mix. Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like actually to talk about the very beginning, like
Yes.
where you're born, what happened in your childhood that maybe gave a white wolf's inclination of happening. So go ahead.
Absolutely. So I was born in New York, New York, right? I grew up with a name like Ophir. It's not a New York name. My parents are Israeli, and Ophir is actually a name from the Bible. It's a city that King Solomon discovered. So I grew up in Westchester, New York, just outside the city. And I grew up with two Israeli parents. And it's interesting because you started to intimate, like, where did the white wolf generate from? And here's the reality. And I never talk about exactly what happened. It doesn't matter, right? I
Mhm.
had massive trauma in my childhood, right? I
Yeah,
had
what happened?
massive trauma. What were you saying?
I was saying, what happened? What was
I
the mess?
don't talk about it because it doesn't matter, right?
Okay.
I had, and I'll tell you why. I had massive trauma in my childhood, and I didn't have support for my family. No, I absolutely learned about feeding the dark wolf. That's what
Gotcha.
they taught me. And so, it was when I got older and was able to be on my own, was when I learned that the past doesn't equal the present, right? The past is the past and the present is the present. You can change your past, right? But a lot of people, and I thought this too, a lot of people think this is who I am, this is where I am, and this is how I have to live the rest of my life. And the reality is, it's easy to transform when you become self aware.
Okay. So what was the next step then?
Yeah. And so, I share this story because when I was a child, when I was 9 years old, my parents sent me to survival camp in Canada. And it was no joke because they had to sign a waiver in case I died at the camp. So that's a pretty serious thing for a 9 year old to be going through. And when I got there, it was a seaplane that took us in and we flew in and there was ice on the water and they took us and they threw us a half a mile out and dumped us in the water, like get back to shore, right? And so that was the beginning of my journey. And the end was at the end of the camp, they brought in an Indian tribe leader because we were surrounded by tribes in Ontario. And he spoke to us and we stood around the fire and we were all going to get our eagle feather, so to speak, right?
Right.
For surviving. And he spoke to us and I was standing there naked around the fire, just like all these other 10 boys. And he started to speak and he talked about, I have a fight going on inside me. He started to tell us he had a white wolf that is love and abundance and caring and joy, and a dark wolf that's ego and scarcity and fear and
Hmm.
negativity. And so I asked him, I was engaged, I asked, which one wins? And he said, the one you feed. And so that was 9 years old. And I didn't feed my white wolf because I was in an environment that fed my dark wolf for the rest of my childhood.
Hmm.
But when I became an adult, when I'm 18 and I leave home, that's when I control what I feed into my system. That's when I have the ability to change how I'm perceiving things, how I'm seeing things, which is everything, which will change your trajectory in an instant.
Right.
And so instead of seeing things from a negative perspective, which is what I did throughout my entire childhood, because that's what I was taught, I saw things in a completely different light. And
Hmm.
instead of being a victim, instead of saying, this is how it is, I became the cause of my life. And that's why the mission statement for Real Momentum is helping people become the cause of their lives rather than the effect of their lives.
That is so fantastic. I'm my head is just like spinning with how many kids have trauma and how many are feeding that dark wolf and how many go into adulthood they don't know why they can't succeed and they
And
don't.
that was me.
Yeah, and then also the trauma of that trauma going into a relationship and who has the stronger wolf. I mean, there's so many dynamics to this. So
It goes so, you're so right, and it goes so much deeper than that, right?
Right, right,
Because you're seeking what you learned from childhood, so you're seeking the wrong people too, right? Until
right.
you change that self-awareness.
Yeah, this is really a great conversation. I just want to show the cover again. I mean, this almost should be a movie the way it has been designed. And also, just this man deserves to have a cover and a book that is going to show you, the reader, anyone that's having the black wolf, the dark wolf, fed and moving to the strategies. I mean, this isn't just a simple, like you just said, feed the white wolf. There's a lot behind here. I mean, you took a long
This
time
is
to put all
This is
this.
my 25-year journey from when I
Right,
got into real estate at 30, because I'm 55 now. This is the 25-year journey about the lessons that I learned in entrepreneurship, in real estate, in one of the hardest areas, right? In Los
right.
Angeles, Sunset Strip. These are all the lessons, the spiritual lessons that I've learned that have helped me grow quickly and easily.
Yeah,
And
and there's so much more to that, Ophir, as you know. It's that when you feed it, you're able to feed others.
absolutely. And also you're able to see things different. See, we only process a small piece of information. We have 2 million bits coming and we process 126 bits of that 2 million. So what are you going to process? It's
Right.
whatever your mind is focused on, and you don't even know that you're processing the negative. So when
And
people are like, there's no opportunities out there, there's nothing, there's no, of course, there are a million opportunities out there, but your dark wolf is the one that you're seeing the lens through. And so it's almost impossible to create success when you're feeding your dark wolf.
so the white wolf fed correctly is bringing love to the parenthood experience, bringing
It,
love to the family, bringing love to the workspace. But what I want to commend you on is it's not just that you do this for yourself, and it's not just that you teach it. Your pack, as it were, okay, your tribe,
yes,
your pack,
white,
they
white wolf pack, our white wolf,
they love you.
they do love me and they love each other too, which
Right.
is
Yes.
awesome.
Yes. Yeah. Because when I speak to them, there is such a confidence that they are on a mission and that they know why they're doing what they're doing. And when I've asked you for something that we need, I notice someone is immediately that within a day or less is emailing me what I needed, and I can see that you could just turn and say this is needed, and someone says done.
Absolutely. Because I mean, listen, it's give and take, right?
Right.
There's energy that needs to be exchanged in any relationship. And so if it's one way, it usually doesn't work out. That's where you have a short circuit.
Yeah.
This is an energy exchange. And I give so much to them because here's my philosophy, Ken. If I can do it, anybody can. When I got into real estate at 30 years old, I could barely walk and talk and chew gum at the same time because I was shut down as a human being.
Mm,
Because of that trauma, because of my experiences, I chose to disconnect, right? And a lot of people do that, dissociate, right? We call it
right.
dissociation. And so that's where I was beginning from. And so,
Which
I
makes you a great
started,
which makes you a
ah,
great coach. You're a great coach because anyone that has seen everything as much as you possibly can see in the dark side can see and empathize and actually say, I've been there.
yeah, and I can also say, oh my God, it's so easy to change when you actually have the right guide, which I got. I got a coach, I got a guide, and that's what changed everything for me and started to change my perspective. And so change the things you look at, and the things you look at will change.
Yes. So what I want to do
Change
real
the way
quick.
you look at things, excuse me, and the things you look at will change.
So I want to quickly I want to go to
So I can
event.
share with you the story of the Sunset Strip, right?
I'm going to do that. I just want to give everyone a chance that this event
Oh,
on the 14th, if you want to come out on the 14th, I just want to give them a couple of options here. So we will
fantastic.
be putting these down for you to go. It has the address. If you're in the LA area, the San Diego area, obviously, if you're friends with here, share it with your friends that are in the LA area. We're excited about this event. And I wanted to say that you being available to have a book like this is not just you're dropping a book. This is your life. This is what you're going to be showing. We're going to be on a journey with you for 2 years. This is so cool. Is that the baby is here and now we're showing it off to the world.
Yeah, and the thing that I love the most about it is that when you focus on changing the way you look at things, right? When you focus on doing things differently, the results become very quick. They become very fast, right? I mean, the results transform very quickly. And so I started to door knock on the Sunset Strip at 30 years old, right? That's what they told me to do and make phone calls. And that's how they said to build my business. And so I started to do it and I had a lot of failure and I hated it. And it was rejection and it was my ego and my pride, right? And so I broke down literally. I remember after door knocking on Sunset Strip, I broke down crying. And that's when I had the epiphany, Ken. That's when I realized if this is my mindset, if my mindset is saying, why would these people want to work with me? There's no
Mm,
reason for them to want to
yeah.
talk to me. There's no reason for, if that's my, how am I going to create success? It's impossible. There's no way you can do that.
Well,
So I
that
realized I had to shift the way I look at things.
yeah, that's your inside dialogue. But even your outside dialogue uses hints of words that are not giving; they're taking.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, and sales structure of copy is so
It's so
crucial.
funny that you say that because that's what it's about, right? Like it's about giving instead of taking.
Right. And so when you use language like when we were both talking about our partnership in this book process, I could tell you were going to be the type of person that will go the distance. Like most people that do a book, it's about the book dropping and not so much about making an impact in the world. And I could tell when we talked, this is not a short journey for you. This is your journey.
Yes. My journey is to support at least 1,000 entrepreneurs, real estate agents, becoming listing agents, dominating their marketplace only because they can support so many people.
Right.
It's so important, especially with the market that we're moving into. People are so unsure and they're going to have so many difficult scenarios. We want great agents to be able to support them. And that comes from being able to communicate with them, being able to ask questions and dig deeper.
Yes. And as a white wolf, being a stand for them having that experience of you and being one as themselves. So
Right.
very
And most agents now are taught about get a sale, get a commission,
right.
they're not even taught how to represent the client the right way. And so it's so important that when you do it the right way, and you're consistent and committed, which is what we focus on in our training, right? We create an environment for you to be consistent every morning. We meet at 7:30 for
Mm-hmm.
you to make your calls right afterwards, right? And we create an environment of consistency. And when they jump into it, within 2 months, they start getting listing appointments and listings right away.
Well, and I know that about. I had to smile or laugh because when you say, "Hey, can we meet this week?" I said, "I don't really have any time spots yet." And you go, "You don't have any?" And I go, "No, I have some early ones, and you're 3 hours earlier than me." And I say, "I could probably do 8." And you go, "Okay, I'm there."
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I
that's
mean,
5 for you. No, that's 5 for you.
yeah. But
For you,
well,
that's
you
five
do
for
what you,
me.
yeah, but that's okay, right?
Right. Well, it's you're never too busy when you have your priorities straight. You're never too
Right.
busy, and you're never too busy if you understand your priorities are going to lead you to freedom.
When you're attached to your values,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
It changes everything in your business. You know, and I was attached to making money at first, and I was an addict, right? For
Right.
25 years, I was drinking a full 750 ml bottle of vodka every single night of my life.
That's a lot.
And it's beyond, I don't even know how I'm still alive. And then I started doing meth and went off the rails and lost everything. And so I know, like, I went down the rabbit hole and I realized that just money wasn't going to bring me happiness, right?
So that's what you were chasing.
Yes, that's exactly what I was saying. That's what I thought. That's what was success, what was happiness. You know, that's what they
Yeah.
teach you when you're younger.
That's what I love about masterminds. When you're in a mastermind, and let me click this back over to us. When you're speaking, I want you to have the full screen, of course. So, what I love about masterminds is they make the distinction of money versus what the money will get you that you want, which is freedom. It really ultimately
Right,
is freedom. And
right.
and so I would like to dig in a little deeper with when you said you kind of lost it all. What was that not like, but what did you have going in your mind that said, "That's it, no more"? And then you found that voice from 9 years when you were 9 years old and saying it's time to feed the other one. Like, tell me how that dialogue went in
Yeah,
your.
that was when I was sitting in my car. I had a beat up car sitting on the Sunset Strip. I had just gone door knocking. Somebody had just slammed the door in my face and said "F you," right? And I got into my car and I broke down on the steering wheel and started crying, and I hoping nobody saw me as they were walking around the Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
And I hit rock bottom. I mean, I literally was like, I don't know what to do anymore. And that's when all of a sudden I realized, what am I doing to create success for myself? And the reality is, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. If my mindset is in this place, it doesn't matter what I do.
Right.
It's not going to change my success, right? I have to focus on mindset first. And by the way, I joined Keller Williams shortly after that. And Gary Keller talks about it's 99% mindset and 1% skill set.
Right. I want
Success is about mindset.
I want to say two ironies, and then I wanted to also commend you on a recent presentation you did. So one irony is the Sunset Strip, like you're having the day, and it's like that kind of day on the Sunset Strip, right? And the second one is you almost owe that guy that gave you the FU like a Christmas card, like thank you. You took me to the very bottom where it couldn't get any lower. It's time to go up now. And had he been nice to you, you wouldn't have had it that day.
Absolutely. And I absolutely thank that person all the time.
Yeah.
I don't go to their door in
You
real
don't, yeah,
life.
you don't give him, yeah. Well, if you know where he lives, I mean, drop off the book and say thank you. You helped make this happen.
Oh my God. It was a she, and I know where she lives.
That's
I'm
so
going to
funny.
do that.
You should do that.
I'm definitely going to do that.
So the
Yes,
other thing
those are the
I want to commend you because this segment's going to come out in a while, and some people can go into my YouTube channel. But your segment was so polished for the Smileathon, uh, and you gave some great information of how you get to smile more in life, and
oh,
this is such a message that complements it. I mean, it's a direct injection to what you'd want to have more happiness. And it's not delusional. It's really about you feeding what you want to have as reality. That's what I love about it.
absolutely. And it's a combination of some of my stories and some of the lessons that I learned. And some of them I learned for the wrong reasons. I learned them through addiction.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll give you an example, right? Like I wasn't able to talk to people after 7 p.m. because I was already drunk.
Mm,
So you should be a professional real estate and not be available to people 24/7, but we usually are because that's the only way we know how to operate. And so I couldn't do that.
got it.
But people, when I set the expectation, people had no problem with it.
Yeah, and
It
there's
was
I
just
don't know
that
what
I needed to support that, right? Like
yeah,
I needed to have it for the right reason and not because I was drunk already at 7 p.m., but because that's a boundary, right?
yeah. And Ophir, I just want to say that I've been fortunate in my publishing to meet people that have either addictive qualities or have had mental illness on some level, whether it's bipolar or that they have dyslexia, things like that. And what I want to say is these qualities create superhuman pathways to what you do achieve because you just have your addictions pointed in the wrong direction.
Yes.
So I've noticed most people that are addictive, and I have addictive qualities myself, just so we're clear, is you become very competitive. You want to win. You just want to know which game you're supposed to win in.
Yes. And by the way, that's the whole you have something to prove, right?
Right.
And a lot of people create success like me. I had something to prove,
Mm-hmm.
but but it still wasn't enough. And that's why I hit rock bottom because money, once you get there, I realized that didn't mean anything, right? That's not going to buy me happiness. That's not going to buy me fulfillment. And they say money doesn't buy you happiness, but a lot of people don't believe that because they don't experience it, right? And I experienced that money doesn't buy you happiness.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that I do believe doesn't buy you happiness, but creates happiness. It's not just that you have impact in the world, which is a very important part to me, but that you become a new identity. And your new identity, sir, and I saw it at the beginning of the show before we started the show, you held the book and I saw a joy I have not seen at that level. You're a very happy person because you have done really good things in your life and you're doing good things for others. But how did it feel when you got the book in your hand today? Because it just seems like, well, if it was today or yesterday, but what did it feel like?
Today, it was right now, like 5 minutes before we jumped on
Oh
here.
my gosh.
Yes, it was literally right now. It was amazing. I feel overjoyed. And once again, like you said, it's so about the ability to share it with others, because I want good people to succeed at the highest of levels and to
Yeah.
support people in sales at the highest of levels. And it comes from feeding your white wolf and from learning how to communicate, right? And my background is in neurolinguistic programming. So I've learned a lot of tools and techniques and ways to learn how to build rapport with people quickly and easily, and get them to want to work with you because you're supporting them the right way. That's a beautiful formula, right?
It is phenomenal. And I,
And that's how you get clients for life, by the way, as opposed to just getting a client. It's clients for life.
yes, and you're doing the business side, and I keep going to the non-business side on purpose because I want to share this with you. This book is for anyone, and
I was
I want to talk about this for a
I
second.
was going to say that, by the way. Thank you for illuminating that, because I was about to say you keep talking about how it whatever you do affects all of your wheel, right? It doesn't just affect you in one area.
Well, and think about the
Yeah,
person.
it's so beautiful.
So think how Ophir helps an agent, and they become successful, and because they become successful, they don't quit, and because they don't quit, they have more time and more abundance to help another person. They find a person that's lost in the community, and had they not been found, they either maybe have made a bad decision, which we all know those bad decisions, or they do a bad decision themselves and cause harm. So it's harm in or harm out. And this white wolf sees they can be a champion for them changing who they feed. My point is,
I
you
love seeing, Ken, you're self-discovering what my formula already is.
right,
See, that's my formula. When I support those people, then they support the ones underneath them,
right,
right?
yes,
And
yes,
I've given these people at the top so much energy, so much so that they can transform. So now they see these people and they're like, oh, I remember when I was there 3 months ago, I
mm,
was saying the same things. I was doing the same things, right? Like you can
right,
see easily, and I can support them. And they're peers. So peers supporting peers is the most beautiful thing in the world.
totally, totally. So anything
That's
else?
part of the formula of the coaching.
Well, I want everyone to know who you are to the extent that you want to share. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your before? And then obviously I want to hear more about your when you were feeding your white wolf, how that journey went. But is there anything else you wanted to talk?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just want to share that I don't know the whole argument that people have about whether people are born leaders or they're made into leaders, right? I believe that some people are born leaders, and I believe that the ones that are made into leaders, the ones that make themselves into leaders, are the ones that have the most ability to support you, right? Because they're coming from the same place. If somebody's born a leader, they haven't experienced what you've experienced, right? They haven't been down there and doubted themselves and not believed in anything and believed that they could do anything. And so, like for me, I learned this lesson in Kabbalah. The people that reach the darkest depths can bring the most amount of light into the world.
100%.
So yeah, that's the beauty of it. Supporting people that are in the same, that have been in the same place as me. And Ken, I went from being broke and not having a dime to one of the top real estate agents in Los Angeles in less than 2.5 years.
That's amazing. And back to the born and made. I'm a big proponent of Malcolm Gladwell's word.
I love Malcolm Gladwell.
Well, Malcolm Gladwell says, with the exception of a billionth, like a prodigy, a true prodigy that can pick it up by just looking at it, there is the human factor of 99.9% that there is no born, it is made. Because it's practice, it's having the right people around you, it's being fed the right well,
But they were fed the so-called born leaders were fed the right thing as they were younger. By the way,
yes,
Ken, our patterns are developed in our childhood,
of
right?
course,
All
of course, yeah,
So it's between 2 and 5, and 7, that's where all your patterns are created. So people think I am my pattern. And I'm telling you, that pattern's not you. You can easily change it. That was just a pattern that was solidified in your childhood.
yeah. And love will always cause you to have love be prospering, always, every single time. And
Yeah.
I mean, take a cat. If you get a cat or a dog and a puppy young enough, and you put that, they're never going to let go of you. They love you.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
I know exactly. It's funny because I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right. Well, sir, talk about the next steps when you actually were on your 2.5 year journey and you were feeding the white wolf and you started seeing these mass results. And at what point were you taking notes? Were you saying someday I'm going to do a book? I mean, tell us about that.
Oh, I mean, for sure, never thought I would ever write a book. Um, that wasn't part of the equation. Listen, Ken, the equation was I was miserable, right? And
Right.
I was so unhappy and I wanted to change. I wanted to be happy. And what I learned was, and this is part of the book, this is part of the spiritual laws, that we all have different lessons that we came here to learn, right?
Right.
Everybody, some people are amazing business people like that, right? And they're just natural to them. Some people
Do you
have
think
a
so?
yes,
You think so,
it's
really? I see. I go back to that
absolutely.
being a born and made. I think business people that are just really solid, they've been feeding the white wolf. Like they understand the love of humanity and they care about customer service. They care about the end result. I will say to me, I think it's that same thing about leadership and
Well, you're talking about like special leadership. I'm talking about like there's plenty of business people that could care less about human beings, right?
yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
understand formulas for technology, for
Right.
business, how to, are you
But
kidding? There's a
but do
million
you
of
think
them.
but do you think they're feeding the white wolf is my point.
No, absolutely
No, they're
not.
not. The correlation is that they would.
Not, but they can create success for themselves because they understand the certain formulas.
Oh, okay, I got you. But they're not,
Yes.
and they're not doing the happiness quotient in a sustainable quotient. Is that what you?
Yeah, exactly. I know a lot of those people that have money and are miserable, right?
Right.
I know plenty
Yep.
of
Yeah.
people that have a lot of money and are miserable because it's for the wrong reasons, right?
Right. Yes. Thank you
It's
for that
if you're
clarification.
there.
Thank you for that clarification because that's so important. Because us not having that little misunderstanding
Yeah,
is
yeah.
is the clarity of yeah, you can have what you want, but what do you want to have with it? Happiness or not happiness?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're creating success and money because you have a chip on your shoulder. By the way, I talk about this too, right? Like I know a lot of real estate agents that die in real estate because they don't have any purpose, right?
Right.
So they're just chasing the deal till they die, right? And they're happy. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but the people that have a purpose, they're able to accomplish it and then leave real estate and be happy and accomplish other things too. It's about having a purpose and it's about focusing on accomplishing that purpose. And so my purpose is to help people become the cause of their lives rather than the effect of their lives.
Mm.
And that's what it comes down to, right? I was always as a younger person, I was always at the effect of my life. These are happening to me. My parents did this to me. My brother, blah, 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 right? It was
Right.
always happening, happening, happening. And as I started to feed my white wolf, started to learn different things from amazing leaders who written the most Napoleon Hill and the most amazing books around, right? There's so many inspirational books, Tony Robbins, you can read, find somebody that speaks to you, and you will start to shift the way your mind is.
100%. So I wanted to remind people that they can meet you at the event in LA on June 14th. So I'm just going to show this off real quick.
Please. So
And
we're also going to be doing a talk about downtown. So if anybody wants to learn about what's happening in downtown, first of all, we're going to have a beautiful event in the heart of downtown, right across from Bottega Louie, the most famous restaurant in downtown.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, oh, you were
I know. That
you were
was
there.
yeah, and I
And
just want to
we
interject.
have a rooftop deck. We
Yep.
have a gorgeous floor. It's going to be amazing. And then we're going to have somebody speak for half an hour at 5 about what's going on in downtown.
And a networking opportunity. I mean, you have the filter of white wolves there.
Yes.
I
We're going
mean,
to have people from all over, from my 25 years in Los Angeles real
right.
estate and with all different companies. I've been with Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, managed for Compass. So I will cover the whole spectrum of agents from all different places. And it will just be a great opportunity for people to connect. And we're going to have drinks and hors d'oeuvres and give away some books. And I would love to have people there.
Yes, and support a person like Ophir because this book can change your life. And what I always say to people as kind of a tongue in cheek is that this should be this the price tag's wrong on here. It's supposed to say $2,000. Why is it only 20? And
So
I say that because this book is his life. This book is all the answers that frees you. And if you have a life that is not providing what you want, and a book like this could shift and you make an extra $100,000, at what point can we say more than thank you at $20? So
By the way,
I was going
before I
to say,
forget, Ken,
yes, sir.
I love that you say that, but also if they show up on Saturday the 14th, they're going to get the workbook for free. We
Oh,
have a full workbook that
okay.
has exercises to help you with, because I talk about my journey and it's
Right.
wonderful to read, but how do you get there, right? So
Yeah.
I have a workbook that has amazing exercises to get you there. And we're going to give it to them for free if they show up on the 14th.
Well, I anticipate a lot of people are going to be writing 5-star reviews with that kind of value.
Yeah, it's so exciting to me to be able to provide people with the opportunity to grow and transform and not be in the dark place that I was and I know about, and I really want to support people in creating happiness for themselves by focusing on the right things, right?
So let's look at talk to the audience about, they either in the place of the dark wolf or they are very close to someone who is a dark wolf. Okay.
Yeah.
And they want to help that person or they want to help themselves. What are three signs? We're not getting them out. We're not feeding the white wolf yet. We're talking about what are three signs that they have a situation that is going to sabotage any happiness. What are some signs that you would identify?
It's really interesting that you say that, because that's part of the workbook too. It's like, okay, when you're thinking about this, what pops into your mind,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
So one of the things that we use as a technique, it's like, okay, if you're thinking about going to make a phone call to a past client or your sphere of influence, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? Because that's what we call mind reading, right? So
Right.
if the first thing that pops into your mind is something negative, like they don't want to talk to me, or they're too busy, or I'm bothering them, then
Right.
you're in a dark wolf space.
And you create the
Oh,
language that would cause it too, that which is the worst part of it. Like you.
abs- absolutely. And by the way, Ken, if they go to my school community, we have a community on school.com/real dash momentum.
Mhm.
We have a mindset quiz so they can see where that's part of the goal. When you join our coaching program, you see where your mindset is at the beginning, and then you see where it is once you've completed it, because you're either proactive or reactive, one of those two things, right? And
Yeah,
most people are in a reactive mind state
and
instead of
it's
a
not a fun
proactive.
way to be. It's not a fun way to be. It's like, let me get up in the
Torture.
morning, be on defense, and let me watch the tennis balls come at me instead of me.
Yes. Yes, yes. And it's the same thing. And when you learn how to be proactive, in this dark time, right? In this economy that's going, you will crush other people. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but you will dominate the marketplace, because as we move into the next phase of the market, Ken, people need someone they trust.
Mm-hmm.
3 years ago, it didn't matter who your real estate agent was. You're going to sell your property, right? Now it's going to matter, and it's going to matter that they come from integrity and want to support you the right way.
Sales are lost every day, and I'm talking massive sales when someone's just smart enough to do a little vetting and they do a Google search and they see an agent that has as many bad reviews as good reviews, and they didn't clean it up. And those bad reviews happen because the wrong agenda was in place, the wrong communication was in place, but definitely the wrong result was created. And I want to commend you for this, because you're talking about an agent that has trust, but that it shows up in the search. The Google search shows that they're committed.
Well, look, I mean, the agent, this is the beauty of it, Ken. The agents are being taught to get people to reach out to them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Never in a million years, man.
Yeah.
You're the salesperson. Your job is to be in communication with them, not
Right.
expect them to reach out to you. And so when you learn that, and you learn how to really have great conversations with your sphere, with your past clients, how to support their network as well, right? Because that's our goal. We want to be
Right.
great agents with integrity that support them, and how to get them to feed you business, right?
Right.
Just by simple techniques. Then it's a wonderful big way of building your business with a nice pipeline of leads that you're going to be closing consistent.
With the way you're going here, I'm telling you, I want to be a white wolf. I want to feed the white wolf. I mean,
First of all, you are the white wolf. That's first of all. That's what your mindset's at, right? You come from the same place. Yeah.
Oh, that's why we hit it off immediately. I
That's
mean,
why, right?
so give maybe two or three things that people are not doing that are in the book, that are in the workbook, that just all of a sudden they would say, "Oh, I need more of this. I need to meet Ophir. I need to thank him." But just one to three things that do this, and all of a sudden you're seeing a shift in the dark wolf into the white wolf.
Yeah, by the way, I mean, Ken, we give access to people in the workbook, in our training, to affirmations,
Mhm.
to meditations, right? To exercises like writing out your top values and then honing them so you
Yes.
have your top five. So that's all part of the workbook in terms of self-discovery, right? That's the goal of being self-aware is first self-discovery, right? So you learn
Huge.
how to discover and then you learn how to create the messaging that you want for yourself
Yeah.
first.
I was surprised how many people, when they do the value exercise, don't know how to articulate them. And how can you be who you want to be if you can't articulate what value drives you? So yeah, that's huge.
Huge. It's huge.
All right. So what else would you like to share? I want to show the ability to purchase the book as well, real quick. So there you have.
Absolutely.
And we're going to be putting these up on the launch. We're going to be sending them out as emails. But this is a real opportunity to meet an author that's a leader that gets results, that has so many people that are just loving the message and also are helping other people because the message is the real deal. So I'm telling you, that is a wolf.
Right? Feed
And
your white wolf. It's
and
as
wherever,
simple.
yeah, wherever your domain is, you get to feed that and cause that community to actually feel your leadership, be motivated by your leadership, and become an advocate of everything you're doing.
I know. I mean, this is a shot from the Sunset Strip, right?
Yeah, it's so cool.
It
All
is
right.
so
Well,
cool.
what other things would you like to talk about? I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about the event, we talked about your
The,
life.
the only the only thing I'd like to highlight is you can either go to realmomentum.com,
Hmm.
and we have so many free things there. We have free assets that you can use. We have free videos that you can watch, trainings, role play videos. You can see people actually setting appointments with sellers in on the phone, literally. You can see how these people are actually getting into transactions. And the beauty is, if you join our community on School, then you're going to be part of our white wolf pack, right? And you're going to see people sharing things that are working right now, how they're engaging with clients, how clients are responding to them. And it's a great place to be because, Ken, if you're in your office, if you're in an environment that you can't control, there's going to be a lot of negativity around you, right? A lot of people telling you, oh, don't do that. That's stupid. Oh, why are you, right? You want to be around an environment that supports your growth, that supports you feeding the white wolf. And that's why we have our white wolf pack. So it's on school/, real dash momentum is our community. And we have a community. We're sharing tons of stuff in there, and we have a ton of free resources for them as well.
Well, I want to do a couple more surprises for you, young man. One is a day that I got to meet you. That was a lot
Oh
of fun.
yeah,
And
that's Bottega Louie.
yeah, and what great friends that you
That was
made.
a great group of people.
Yes, it was, and that is the idea of what a White Wolf lunch could be like. Like we had a mastermind White Wolf lunch. Everyone wanted to hear, support the other, and I wanted to share two more photos that I just absolutely love. This one being one of my favorite,
Oh, one of my favorite, Beth. I mean, talk about somebody who feeds their white wolf, right?
100%. And she gets so many accolades for all the good work she's doing that social media just she's going viral on social media. And then I know this is going to make you smile, buddy, but my favorite one is of course this photo here.
Oh, nice. Keep
And
smiling.
and by the way, for those of you who really love smiles, but you love positivity and leadership, Ophir has a photographer is going to take pictures of you with him. You're going to get to take pictures with your new book. It's going to change your life. But if you want, you get to take a picture with a smile card. And
Yes.
we're making a book of LA of all the all the people that create smiles and abundance in the LA area. And Ophir's story is going to be put into there so that can share to all the people that may have lost hope, may not think that there's inspiration in the world, and you certainly have brought it with this. So I have some questions about programming, but I don't want to go into that. Is there anything else? We have a great event coming up. I anticipate you being back on the show again because I think closer to Christmas time, I think it's what are you feeding for 2026?
That's right. That's the key. I mean, by the way, Ken, simple things, right? Like, what are you watching regularly right
Right.
now, right? I mean, if you're watching these murder mystery TV shows, like that's negativity. We have enough. We're the news, right? Limit the amount of news you listen to because it's all negative. I mean, don't just not do it, but like you've got to look at what are you feeding into your mind. That's the most important thing, right?
Ophir, I got to tell you, out of doing 600 shows, this is the easiest and best segue I've ever had to the end of a show. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for this.
Yeah, these are this is called rapid fire. It's my 5 questions I ask that how did you get programmed to be the person you are now that you want to be? Are you ready for the program questions?
Yes, I
By the
love
way,
it.
you don't need to elaborate, but if you elaborate, just keep it short because this is the quick exit.
Rapid fire.
And
Okay.
this, yeah, rapid fire. And it's also so people can say, "Oh, he reads this, I'm reading that. Oh, he watched this, I want to watch that." So here we go. You ready?
Yes.
What book changed your life? And I know you've read so many, so if you want to do 2 or 3, that's okay.
Becoming Like God by Michael Berg from the Kabbalah Center. He's the head of the Kabbalah Center. Becoming Like God was a book that I read when I was in my lowest meth addiction and on the street homeless, uh, but right about to be homeless, not yet, but on the verge. And that book changed my life.
Thank you for sharing that. And by the way, what a gift. Um, Charlie Tremendous Jones says the difference between where you are today and where you'll be 5 years from now are the books you read and the people you meet. And you just gave a book I hadn't heard of, so I want to check that out. That's really cool.
100%. He's right. Yeah.
Okay, what movie gets you is inspiring you? What movie do you watch to be inspired?
Oh, that's such a great question. I mean, Rudy, right? Like, who doesn't love Rudy, right?
You know, Rudy.
You know, it's so funny, but like we look at these sports things, right?
Yeah,
And you can tell like these people had coaching, they had, right? Like they
yeah,
had these things, but
100%.
we
Yeah.
never think about that for life, right?
You know, I had lunch with Rudy, and he said that the reason that movie was considered the number 2 inspirational movie of all time is because it had more trauma and more challenge and more letdowns per minute than any other movie except for one movie, Rocky. Isn't that funny?
That's great. Well, one of my favorite leaders in real estate talks about how the difference between her $8 million Barbara Corcoran, who people you should know, right? She
Right?
talks about the difference between her $8 million producer and her 64,000 producer is resilience. That's it.
Yeah.
That is it. It's the $80 million one gets knocked down and gets right back up again.
Right back up. Yeah, it didn't even matter. Didn't. All right. Third question for you. What song gets you going?
Um, I'm a Rage Against the Machine
Are you?
for lead generation.
Uh-huh.
It's gotta be whatever is in the
Yeah.
moment. For lead generation, it's Rage Against the Machine. And
Right.
for the rest of my life, I love techno music for some reason.
I would have died. I would have fallen out of this chair if you said it's Rage Against the Machine, but then for the rest of the time, it's Barry Manilow.
It's Kenny G.
All right. Who's your hero?
Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, awesome.
Abraham Lincoln, man, that
Oh,
guy.
come on.
You want to talk about a guy who's failed a million times more than he succeeded?
Well, and gosh, Spielberg with his movie Lincoln. Come on, I might watch it again tonight. I mean, I've heard people say Lincoln almost, I don't know, 3 times out of the last 10 interviews. I mean, it is Lincoln. It is Lincoln.
He failed in every endeavor that he took
Yes,
until he got to presidency.
and they crushed it. All right, and the final question: what quote do you live by?
Uh, Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
That's my second favorite quote. You want to say who's? You want me to tell him who?
Yeah, tell me what your favorite is.
Well, Henry Ford is the guy who said that.
Yes, Henry Ford.
Yes. Well, my favorite right now is about happiness. Happiness is when what you think and what you say and what you do are in harmony, and
That's
that's Gandhi. And by the way, Henry Ford was my number one. So Gandhi took first place at this point. Like I might move around just like everybody else's. I wanted to give you an opportunity to share how people can reach you, and I wanted to also put this up one more time. So this is the launch And how can people reach you, Ophir? How can
Absolutely. They can email me always at my email. It's Ophir, Ophir, at realmomentum.com. But they can always go to our website, Real Momentum. They can schedule a consult with me. I'm happy to sit down and talk to anybody. They can literally sit down and have a conversation with me on Zoom and talk about where they're at in their business. And we can talk about where they want to go and what the things they should do is to get there.
And if you are not able for any reason, because you just live a little bit far away from LA, you can get the book on Amazon on the 14th. And not only that, this book will be traveling around the United States. It's going to be in multiple cities. I will be bringing it around with pride because this book is the right message. It's so connected to what Perfect Publishing believes is that everyone should have a white wolf feeling in life, which is love and happiness. So,
Yeah. And it smiles is the same exact thing, right?
yes. Well, Ophir,
It's
thank you so much. It was a pleasure not only talking to you, but what divine timing that your book lands right before the show. I mean, just I'm so happy about that.
right.
And
Things happen for a
we still have
reason.
a whole 10 days until your event.
I know. I'm so excited. Just starting to promote it now.
all right. Well, awesome. So
Thanks,
everyone,
Ken.
Dr. Smiley, and you have just heard from Ophir Adar, and he has a great book. He's an author now. Please support this man, but more importantly, change your life with the message he's bringing you.